Live.
A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Dry weather to intensify in the coming days. School sporting events must be held after the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Instructions from the Education Minister. Many sporting events at schools across the island postponed. 21 Indian fisherfolk arrested for encroaching into the Sea of Sri Lanka off the Delft Island. All Ceylon Fishermen's Union blames failed diplomacy for Indo-Sri Lanka fishing controversy. Presidential election, general election and delayed provincial council and local government elections must be held soon. A statement from the former chairman of the National Election Commission. IGP aims to completely eradicate drugs and the underworld using Operation Yuktiya. Police launch special operations in the south.
And now the stories in detail. The Department of Meteorology warned of rising temperatures tomorrow across many parts of Sri Lanka, particularly in the northwest, north central, eastern and western provinces. The heat index, the temperature felt on human body, is expected to increase up to caution level in Monaragala, Mana, Ratnapura and Vavuniya districts. Residents in these areas are advised to exercise caution and follow health and safety measures. Minister of Education Dr. Susil Premchand has stressed that sports events in schools should be held after the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. In response to the minister's request, Newsfirst correspondents reported that sports events at many schools across Sri Lanka have been postponed.
Even before, we had informed everyone not to take children out of their classrooms for sporting activities and to limit it as much as possible. But we can see that these instructions are not being followed in certain areas. Therefore, we reiterate for all sports meets to be postponed until after the Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
Meanwhile, the Met Department has warned of a further increase in the dry weather over the next few days. Director General of the Met Department, Atula Karnanayaka, said that from the 22nd of March, some parts of Sri Lanka may experience showers in the evening. However, he said that this will not be enough to alleviate the prevailing dry weather. He said that since the sun will be at its peak from the 5th to the 15th of April, the heat may increase. The highest temperature in the 24-hour window ending at 8:30 a.m. today was recorded in Kurunegala. That value is 38.3 degrees Celsius. The hottest temperature in Colombo was 33.9 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organization said that the air quality index in some areas across the country has dropped. The NBRO said that people residing in Kurunegala, Badulla and Anuradhapura districts are among those who are affected. Reports suggest that the AQI stands at 102 units in Kurunegala, 106 units in Badulla and 104 units in Anuradhapura. The NBRO has urged the public to exercise caution given the current situation. Meanwhile, the dry weather has resulted in an increase in various diseases. Health authorities warn that the dry weather and direct sunlight can contribute to skin conditions. Dermatologist Dr. Indira Kahavita emphasizes the importance of seeking medical attention for any skin conditions.
You can experience an itch in areas of your feet and hands that are exposed, along with some spots that are lighter than your skin tone. White spots may be seen in your upper part of the cheeks of school children. Prickly heat may be seen on the skin of people of all ages. Bacterial infections could also take place in areas like the armpits.
රවුම් ආකාරයේ දදයක්.
She added that people who use cosmetics or other products in their skin should take extra precautions to protect their skin during the prevailing dry weather.
ඒ වගේ දේවල් සඳහා ආලේපන පාවිච්චි කරපු අය ඉන්නවා නම්
If there are people who use skin whitening creams, their sensitivity to the sunlight is higher. Therefore, it is extremely important for people like that to protect themselves from the sunlight. The best way to do this is to ensure that sunlight does not directly strike your skin. I would also like to remind everyone that it is important to drink a lot of water and not wait until you are thirsty to drink water.
දී ඊටාම වැදගත් කියලා මතක් කරන්න කැමතියි.
The Sri Lanka Navy arrested 21 Indian fisherfolk poaching in the sea of Sri Lanka off the Delft Island. The All Ceylon Fishermen's Union alleged that Sri Lankan diplomatic efforts have failed to resolve the issue of Indian fisherfolk entering Sri Lankan waters.
Indo-Lanka fishing controversy.
The number of Indian fisherfolk illegally entering the Sea of Sri Lanka has been on the rise recently. While an estimated 500 fishing vessels enter the Sea of Sri Lanka daily, only a fraction of this number are seized by the authorities. Yesterday, Indian fishing vessels encroached upon Sri Lankan waters and depleted our resources. Accordingly, the Sri Lanka Navy spokesperson arrested 21 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters off the Delft Island. 2 fishing vessels were also seized by the Navy during the operation. In 2024 alone, authorities have apprehended 146 fisherfolk and seized 18 fishing vessels.
Indo-Lanka fishing controversy.
The Indo-Lanka fishing controversy and the Kachathib Island have become a major topic of discussion in the Indian political arena. This is likely due to the upcoming Indian general elections. The first phase of the parliamentary election will be held on the April 19th, second on the 26th of April, third on the 7th of May, the fourth phase on the 13th of May, the fifth on the 20th of May, and the sixth on the 25th of May, and the 7th on the 1st of June. Addressing a public meeting in Kanyakumari in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi accused the DMK and the Congress for the fishermen's crisis. Responding to the Prime Minister, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin rejected the Prime Minister's allegations and raised concerns over the steps taken by the BJP the last 10 years to retrieve Kachathib. BJP Tamil Nadu leader Annamalai Kuppusamy also expressed views on the issue surrounding the Kachathib Island.
What are the secrets involving the Kachathib Island? There was an agreement between both countries in Delhi. This was signed during the tenure of Karunanidhi as Chief Minister. Did he agree to this agreement? 6 months after the agreement was signed, the foreign ministers of both countries jointly removed the 6th clause of this agreement. He said that the ownership of the Kachathib Island must be handed over to Sri Lanka. That is wrong. But the current Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin has said he is not aware of this. What a joke.
Indo-Lanka fishing controversy.
Speaking at a media briefing in Jaffna today, the All Ceylon Fishermen's Union expressed views on the politicization of this issue.
By politicizing the Indo-Lanka fishing controversy in the northern province, particularly in the Jaffna district, some aim to create a conflict among Jaffna fishermen. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin's actions also contribute to the politicization of the issue. What is the point of using this for personal gain? The President has advocated for amicable relations with India. However, his efforts to create harmony seem inadequate. Without a solution to the Indo-Lanka fishing controversy, the silence of the subject ministers are concerning. The silence suggests a failure in diplomacy. We, the people, will not tolerate Indian trawlers in our waters for even a minute. These trawlers are fishing as close to as 3 nautical miles from the Mannar coast. This is how they engaged in fishing in the Sea of Sri Lanka yesterday.
Mannar fisherfolk captured footage on their mobile phones showing Indian fishermen's boats illegally entering the Mannar waters.
wins the election.
Former chairman of the Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, said that the presidential election, general election and the delayed provincial council and the local government elections must be held before the end of 2025.
Mahinda Deshapriya had convened a media briefing in Ambalangoda today to speak about the delay in holding elections.
When is the election? But I ask, which election will be held? The local government election that was supposed to be held on the 9th of March last year has been postponed for over a year now. No one is speaking about this. If the small things are not done, they can also refrain from doing the next one that comes along. They can say that there is no money and not hold that election. They wait for a decision from court. None of the election officials are looking into this except for a few election observers. All the others are not looking into this either. Even the political parties are not speaking about this. Our question is not when is the election. It is when will the local government election be held. The presidential election cannot be postponed. It must be held between the 17th of September and the 17th of October. But we need to stress that postponing any election is wrong, and those elections need to be held. The cabinet has said that 2 elections can be held with the money that has been allocated. Money from the emergency fund can be used for the parliamentary election, even if money has not been allocated. But with the money that has been allocated, both the presidential election and the local government election can be held. This government won 146 seats in 2020 with a mandate to form a government under the leadership of Mahinda Rajapaksa and for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to hold the office of president. Now both of them are not in office. This means that the people's mandate is no longer valid. Therefore, I believe that the parliamentary election, the presidential election, the local government election and the provincial council election, if the act is changed, must be held before the end of 2025. As a state official who worked in the field of elections and as the chairman of the Sri Lankan Elections Professionals Association, I request everyone, do not allow for any election, however small, even the cooperative election, to be postponed. They surrounded the Elections Commission saying that the local government elections were delayed. About 125 members who vote with the government now surrounded the Election Commission, but the election has still not been held. Those who filed cases in court over the delay in the local government election are also not talking about it anymore. I can't believe how these politicians forget what they say in the opposition when they join the government. Wins the election.
The youth rally of the Jatika Janabalawege in Mathura was held under the auspices of the leader of the JJB, Anurakumara Desanayaka.
You would have been speaking among your classmates in school as to where you will begin your life. You would have been speaking about what prospects you have. You would have been speaking among your friends as to how you can change things. Like it or not, you can only change this by taking a new political path. The politics in Sri Lanka has been revolving among a handful of families. These families are branding themselves as the saviors of the underprivileged youth who are being stepped on every day. The son of Ranasinghe Premadasa believes that he was destined to be president from the day that he was born. Mahinda Rajapaksa's son also believes that he was destined to be president from the day that he was born. The son of Vijay Sekara believes that he was destined to be a minister from the day he was born. What has happened here? Both the national politics and regional politics have fallen into the hands of a handful of families. The doors to enter politics have been closed to the talented youth of the country who want to be involved in politics. I believe that thousands of youth in the Mathura district have gathered here to say one thing. They are here to give the message that they are ready to change this political system that has brought nothing but suffering and misery to generations of Sri Lankans over several decades. Wins the election.
Jatika Janabalawege MP Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that 2024 is the year of change for Sri Lanka. She expressed these views at the JJB Women's Conference in London.
We want our women's movement to really make an impact and to change the way in which politics happens in our country. To make it a safe space for everyone, to make it a more inclusive place for everyone, and to make everyone feel that being part of public life, being part of a political space is not something that is demeaning or not something that is somehow only bad people do or corrupt people do. This is the change that we want to bring. There's belief among people that a different kind of politics is possible. That is what is most inspiring about this movement. They're actually not asking for any goodies. They're actually asking for a change in the system. They're asking for a political system, for representatives that actually are accountable to people and that are actually committed to serve the people. And that's what they're looking for. They're no longer looking for handouts. They're no longer looking for a patron who will protect them. They want something different.
When's the election?
MP Dayasri Jayasekara explained the future course of action of the Humane People's Alliance.
The Humane People's Alliance will work on a concept based on humanity. More than 18 parties will join us next Wednesday at 2 p.m. We will revive this country. I am not doing this with the intention of targeting a spot as a presidential candidate. Following discussions, we will decide on our presidential candidate. I will not deny their requests, but I would like to clearly say that I am building this alliance without any intention of becoming a presidential candidate. When's the election?
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that he aims to create 1 million new entrepreneurs.
Our
aim is to create 1 million new entrepreneurs in the country. We are launching a new initiative to achieve this. We aim to cultivate a knowledge-centered approach to entrepreneurship within the school system itself. This will equip students with the skills and mindset to become entrepreneurs as soon as they graduate from school or university. To jumpstart their ventures, we intend to provide them with the initial capital required to launch their businesses. This program will empower students to become self-sufficient right out of school, offering an alternative to traditional job seeking.
Newsfirst with the people.
Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tenakon said that he aims to completely eradicate drugs and the underworld using Operation Yuktiya. He expressed these views today at a meeting with the Jaffna Community Police.
A meeting for the Jaffna Community Police was held today under the chairmanship of Minister of Public Security Tiranalis. Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tenakon and others attended the event.
The war in Sri Lanka persisted for 30 years. Heroin addiction remains a significant issue. Combating this issue requires a multi-pronged approach. While a successful Operation Yuktiya can strengthen the police, addressing the root causes of addiction and providing rehabilitation programs are crucial. The alarming trend of drug use among school children requires immediate action. Drug addiction fuels violent crime, with countless individuals trapped in the cycle. Motorcycle gunmen are very common. This problem is beyond geographical boundaries, affecting both the north and the south. Operation Yuktiya is aimed at eradicating drug trafficking and the underworld. The initial success within the first 3 months is encouraging. We can be optimistic that continued efforts will significantly reduce drug trafficking and crime, allowing Sri Lankans to live safely and freely anywhere in the island. Since launching this operation, we have made tough decisions and demonstrated strong leadership. Building on this progress, I pledge today to eliminate drug trafficking and the underworld from these areas. We will take the strongest possible action to achieve these goals. Your support is crucial. If you provide us with information, I guarantee that we will act upon it without any political influence.
නොවි කිසිම දේශපාලන බලපෑමකට යටත් නොවි මේ කාර්යය කරන්න මම පොරොන්දු වෙනවා.
A special police operation centering the southern province will begin tomorrow. Minister of Public Security Tiranalis said the operations will be conducted at maximum force. The minister added that all necessary plans are now in place. This operation aims to curb organized crimes reported in the southern province. Meanwhile, 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the shooting and killing of 2 people at a shop in Pittigala. The incident was reported on the 11th of March when 2 unidentified individuals entered a shop at the Guruvela junction in Pittigala and opened fire at the victims.
The Criminal Investigation Department has arrested a Deputy Controller and a former Deputy Controller of the Department of Immigration and Immigration. Police said they were arrested for issuing irregular passports to 2 underworld criminals. Stay tuned to Newsfirst for more details on this story. Moving on to other local stories, people gathered at the Thimbrigasyaya junction once again today demanding solutions to multiple issues in Sri Lanka.
It's the 3rd Sunday of March 2024 and the people of Thimbrigasyaya has gathered here yet again in their 264th day in asking for a system change and a government free of corruption via their silent waving of placards. They are asking for a free and inclusive election held this year. Let us now hear the voice of the people.
No one recruits new people during an election year. The government has decided to recruit new Grama Niladhari. So these kind of appointments, Sagala's brother, Rohita, these are stupid appointments. And at the same time, they are appointing new Grama Niladharis and new teachers for them to gain power. Now, one thing I want to tell the government is, through these appointments, either you are going home very early before the election. People are going to get together and they are going to chase you away. So if you want to really go for a good election, make sure that you don't do such stupid things.
Here we can hear the President in Parliament, his members of his party saying, Kauda hora, Mahinda hora. Then we also heard on the election stage, Mahinda saying, Ranil Tamai Mahabanku hora. But now, they have both got together. This is a crucial year where the elections have to be held. Even our President has said that he will ensure that the elections are held as per our constitution.
2 years ago, when the people rose up, it was against the corruption. It was also against this racial divide. Now we see a lot of the narratives again being spun to divide us into race and ethnicity. People should be aware that we want a country that is for everybody, free of corruption, and the only way to do that is to be aware of what's going on and to vote wisely.
Newsfirst with the people.
The Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka proudly presents SOSL Concert, a musical masterpiece conducted by Kiko Kiyobashi with the world premiere of Lalnath De Silva's first cello concert with soloist Dushanti Pereira, One Soups, Light Cavalry Overture and Brahms' First Symphony. 23rd of March 7 p.m. onwards at the Lionel Wendt Theatre. Tickets available now. Electronic media sponsors Yes 101, Legends 966, Newsfirst and TV1.
Welcome back. You're with News First. The Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka began rehearsals today in preparation for their grand concert on March 23rd.
Music, a form of art that is known to ease anyone, whether it's jazz or even modern day hip hop or even an orchestra. We are at the rehearsals of the Symphony of Orchestra, the event which is happening on the 23rd of March, 7 p.m. onwards, and Lionel Wendt. So let's take a look at what the Symphony of Orchestra has to offer for us.
On March 23rd, music enthusiasts are in for a treat as the Symphony Orchestra presents a captivating concert featuring the revered Vannam composition alongside a mesmerizing cello concerto performance by the acclaimed Dushanti Pereira. The esteemed conductor Keiko Kobayashi from Japan will take the podium, gracing the event with her artistry and renowned interpretation.
Could you tell us, how does it feel to come out of your comfort zone and then work with all these local musicians and composers?
Yes, it's very interesting. So because there are fourth movement and including Baila, Sri Lankan style, and so I enjoy mixing Western style and Sri Lankan style. So I'm sure audience be happy, very happy.
The concert will feature the Vannam, a cornerstone of Sri Lanka's rich musical tradition. One can anticipate a performance of exceptional virtuosity from Dushanti Pereira. Her interpretation of the cello concerto promises to be both deeply affecting and technically masterful. This captivating composition will showcase the symphony orchestra's versatility and expressiveness, allowing the audience to immerse themselves in the unique tapestry of Sri Lankan music.
The Voice Kids Sri Lanka quarterfinals continued for the second weekend today, with contestants from coach Nandini's team showcasing their talents.
Voice Kids Sri Lanka kicked off its quarterfinals last week and will continue over the next few weeks. The 4 coaches currently have 8 members on their teams each, but only 4 will advance to the semi-finals. Each day 4 contestants from one coach's team will perform. The public will vote for one contestant to advance, while the coach will choose another. This weekend's program featured coach Nandini's team vying for the spot in the semi-finals.
අද දවසේදී ජනතා මනාපෙන් semi-finals වලදී ඔබ දකින්නේ Rashid Prasad.
Rashid Prasad advanced to the semi-finals thanks to public voting, and Jihan Mantish joining as coach Nandini's choice.
මම ගෙනියන්නේ ජෙහන්.
Throughout the competition, each coach will select 4 contestants for the semi-finals. Last weekend, coach Uresha's team delivered captivating performances. Next week, coach Harshana's team will prepare to set the stage alight. A total of 16 contestants representing the 4 coaches will advance over the next 3 weeks. The quarterfinals will be telecast live on Sirasa TV for the next 2 weeks. Vote for your favorite contestants on the Voice Kids Sri Lanka app.
Moving on to news overseas, a state of emergency has been declared in southern Iceland because of another volcanic eruption on the Reykjanes Peninsula, the 4th since December.
According to Iceland's Civil Defense Service, the eruption began on Saturday north of Grindavik. Lava has reached the eastern defences around the evacuated town. It is thought to be the most powerful flare-up so far. People have also been moved to the nearby Blue Lagoon, one of Iceland's most popular tourist attractions. Iceland's airspace remains open while giant lava spill is billowing smoke. Footage of the explosion showed clouds of smoke and glowing magma oozing and bubbling from vents in the earth. This is a similar location to the eruption that began on the 8th of December.
President Vladimir Putin will seek to tighten his grip on power today in a Russian election that is certain to deliver him a landslide victory, though opponents called on people to stage a symbolic protest against his rule at polling stations.
Vladimir Putin, who rose to power in 1999, is poised to win a new 6-year term that, if he completes it, would make him Russia's longest-serving leader for more than 200 years. The election comes just over 2 years since Putin triggered the deadliest European conflict since World War II by ordering the invasion of Ukraine in what he casts as a defensive special military operation. War hangs over the 3 days of voting that ends today. Ukraine over recent days repeatedly attacked oil refineries in Russia with drones, shelled Russian regions and sought to pierce Russian borders with proxy forces, a move Putin said would not be left unpunished. Putin, aged 71, has warned the West that any meddling in the vote will be considered an act of aggression. While his re-election is not in doubt given a lack of any significant rival candidate, he wants to show that he has the overwhelming support of Russians. Supporters of Alexei Navalny, who died in unexplained circumstances at an Arctic prison last month, have called on Russians to come out at noon against Putin, protest to show their dissent against a leader they cast as a corrupt autocrat. Over the previous 2 days, there were also scattered incidents of protest as some Russians set fire to voting booths and poured dye into ballot boxes.
Well, it has been 28 years since the Sri Lankan cricket team headed by Arjuna Ranatunga won the World Cup back in 1996. In 1996, on a day like today, Sri Lanka took on the cricketing powerhouse Australia in the finals of the ICC ODI World Cup at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. Sri Lanka beat Australia by 7 wickets on that day to clinch the ultimate glory in the cricketing world. Batting first in the World Cup final, Australia put up a total of 241 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. In response, Sri Lanka chased down this total in just 46 overs and 2 balls while only losing 3 wickets. Sanath Jayasuriya was adjudged the man of the series, while Aravinda De Silva was crowned as the man of the match.
That's it, all the way to the boundary for 4. What a victory for the Sri Lankans.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.